What's up, family? Welcome back to another edition of the Try Life On podcast. For the past few episodes, have been very insistent to get you guys more tactical information on financial freedom and question and answers from wealth coaches and things of that nature, to include my own mastermind. If you listen to the financial blueprint episode, it was very detailed in how to organize your finances to affect your perfect day. I'm going to try and do more of those kinds of things. Now that I'm actually taking a bit of a hiatus from coaching, I want to keep the momentum and share a lot of the information that I've been giving to my coaching students and even in my mastermind with you, the Try Life On listeners, because you guys can use it. And we have such an enormous amount of momentum between the newsletters, the podcast itself, and the WhatsApp international global community on WhatsApp, where I'm helping people build lifestyle they don't need a vacation from. Today is no different. I got an email from the team of my friend Loral Langmeier. Actually, she is a five-time New York Times bestseller. When I got a message from her team, her name struck me so much. It's like, why do I know this name? Why do I know this name? And I had an instinct to go check the box of all the books that I've read over the past 25 years that helped me achieve my own versions of financial, time, and geographic freedom. And sure enough, there was a book by the name of The Millionaire Maker. And if you're watching the video format, here it is. This is the actual book that I bought somewhere in 2006, 2007. And if you had followed me on LinkedIn before I left, I've taken a break from LinkedIn, but if you followed me, you were aware of my 10-step process for financial freedom, which included knowing your why, stop buying stuff you don't need anymore, store your money versus saving your money, buy an asset, press repeat, etc. When I looked in my notes inside this book where Loral highlights something called the wealth cycle, my process was directly influenced by her, and I didn't even realize it. So that's why it's so important to stick with the book, stick with the patterns that you have found that work for you over time. And unbelievably, Loral came into my sphere and I got a chance to interview her. Listen, she has transformed countless lives, and her company's credited with creating well over 10,000 millionaires over her 25 years of being in the financial industry. Now, I will tell you from a Try Life On perspective, I don't care about millions as much as I care about people having the financial freedom number that they need on a monthly basis to live the kind of lifestyle that they want. Not everything is about money, but certainly money is a tool that we need in our lives. She's a five-time New York Times bestselling author, a sought-after money expert, and the creator of the Millionaire Maker series, which is the book that I read, the first book that I read in 2006. She grew up on a farm in Nebraska, earned her degree in business and physiology, and began her career managing large-scale projects at Chevron. So she was corporate, before she became this badass entrepreneur that she is today, and educator. From there, she launched into entrepreneurship and she built her company called Live Out Loud, which is now called Integrated Wealth Systems for many reasons, but she turned it into a multi-million-dollar international enterprise and has been dedicated to showing people everywhere how to become millionaires. And I am one of them. Not everything about my process was from Loral, but I was heavily influenced by her book. Her organizations, like I said, are credited with well over 10,000 new millionaires, and she's been featured on CNN, Fox, CNBC, The View, Dr. Phil, Wall Street Journal, Forbes, USA Today. She's written so many books. You're going to have to go to askloral.com to figure it all out. But what I wanted to say to you is somewhere between 2006 and 2008, I picked up her book. And I can say without hesitation that her work influenced the way that I approach my own financial journey. I just went back through the notes and I'm like, oh my God, even things like buying properties and then later quit claiming them into LLCs as a way to protect myself and make sure that I have passive income later on in life, which I do. I think I got these ideas from Loral in some capacity. So I definitely built on the principles within her book. I executed consistently, and I stand here today as someone who has benefited from her wisdom, Today is not about me, it's about her, but I wanted to give you the tie-in. I hope you enjoyed this conversation with my friend Loral. It was wonderful to meet her, and it actually sparked my mind on, even though I'm deleveraging and trying to slow down life a little bit, what else can I do to educate people more the way that she is doing? I hope this conversation helps your own financial freedom journey, but way more than the financial freedom journey. Use it as an input to creating your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from, so you can get out there and try life on like many people are. Sit back, relax, enjoy this interview with my friend Loral.
So, Maurice, where are you talking from?
I am in Maryland today, which is just outside the Washington, D.C. area, maybe like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Split my
what's,
time between here and Beirut. I actually live in Maryland and live in Beirut, Lebanon at the same time.
oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Where are you today?
I'm in Northern Nevada, just, Carson City.
Carson City. I know Carson for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep. We had a conference center. I have to forward one email to somebody and then I'm turning my phone
Yeah,
off.
all good.
So we had a conference center at the lake, right at Lake Tahoe on the heavenly.
Yeah.
We could easily say, yeah, we live in heaven. And we sold it in 19, which was like grace of God because COVID hit and our
Yeah,
entire business model changed
yeah, yeah,
drastically. I'm sure yours did too.
totally. Especially
Have
on
you
the
always, have you
real
always,
estate side.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I said no. I was agreeing with you totally on the real estate side. Everything's changed.
Yeah. I mean, so we went from, I was only a stage and TV speaker, entertainer for the most part. And then when COVID hit, all this, now has become social media and
Yeah.
totally a different jam.
It is, but you're getting your message out just in a different way. So it's all
Oh,
good.
better, I can tell you that.
Good. Yeah. Less of you in person, more of your message out there than ever, which is great.
I had some of the I think best social media teams because I don't know if you've seen our social media; it's quite thriving.
I
So
haven't. I got to learn from you a little bit.
very,
How much
right,
how much time do I get with you today? Because I want to be conscious of your time as well.
we can go to about 1:20, about a half hour, good half
Okay,
hour.
I got you.
Okay.
Listen, I want to show you something.
Okay. Yay, yay, yay.
I didn't just buy this. I bought this in somewhere in between 2005 and 2008.
Well, it
So
came out six. So it was either six, seven, or eight.
something in there. Yep. That's right. The copyright is 2006.
Yep.
And when I ran into your name again, when your team reached out, I was like, why do I know this amazing woman's name? And then something told me to go look in my box of books that you've had on your journey or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, the Millionaire Maker. And I went back to review all my notes in the books just to see, you get curious like what you were thinking
Yep.
about way back then. And the crazy thing is, and I just want to reflect it back to you so you understand your impact on people when you may not even realize it. At the time, I had just started the thought process of creating this lifestyle design, financial freedom journey, et cetera, et cetera. I picked up your book, created my own money machine. I put my assets into entities. They were all in my personal name at the time because I was in my 20s. And I did the wealth cycle, but I just did it a different way. But what I realized was, look, she's talking about taking all this W-2 and putting it into assets and then letting the assets create revenue. So then you can just filter it back in and just make it go. And I want you to know that I did that. I
Good
could have
job.
left W-2 at age 38, but I left at 46 to keep the machine rolling. And here I am at 50. I don't have any W-2 whatsoever. So these kinds of things, the information that you put out, it really does
Well,
have
we
impact.
should start. We are recording. Oh, good.
Yeah, of course, of course. I would.
Because I want that lad. That's a great beginning introduction of how, how'd you just the impact. You don't know how much you make when you put something like that in the world.
You don't, and it sinks into. I was talking to my partner, and it sinks into your subconscious. It must, because I don't remember specifically stating those things, but I was making notes around that time of, yes, I'm going to do this. No, this doesn't apply to me. And one more thing, and then I'm going to get you moving because it's very important for you to introduce yourself to folks because I know you already.
Yeah.
You were talking about the cash machine being an entrepreneurial venture.
Yep.
My cash machine was three W-2s at the same time instead.
So, but that's really not a cash machine.
Well, but it's
From a
still
cash,
cash going into the cycle.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
The
Cash
difference
going.
is that's the worst taxed money versus one W-2 and two entrepreneur ventures where you can use
Yes.
business deductions against that W-2 tax. That's the only correction in the cash machine wealth cycle as you understand it is ideally it's not a W-2, but there are a lot of people they have to have it be a W-2. They need to
Yeah.
they need to supplement with the entities. But I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of real estate in entities, so it got handled that way. So it's there's not one way to slice this thing, which
Uh,
is what what we can talk more about too.
Yeah, and what I espouse just on so what Try Life On is encouraging people to literally try life on whenever you would like to, and not espouse to definitions of success that we were told in school or in college, or just become a partner at your career, and that's the thing that will make you happy and things of that nature. The reason I had the three W-2s because I was a police officer. At the same time, I was a senior corporate executive, and then I was in the military at the same time because I wanted that lifestyle.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's
And
perfect.
yeah, so it really worked out. So there would have
Well,
been a huge intro of you before this, but I'm curious, like
I
how
kind of
did
like
you go,
this one.
what's that?
I kind of like maybe like we'll start more of a form of whatever we want to do to start it. But
Yeah,
then like this recollection of how this all happened for you is
yeah.
great. It's testament to, it doesn't matter what time in your life you meet this work. If you put the work in your life, it works.
If you put the work in your life, it works. Absolutely.
It changes you.
How did you change from growing up on a farm in Nebraska to doing this kind of work, empowering people to become millionaires all over the world?
Are we going straight in? Just
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
okay, good. So at 17, I mean, I grew up, farmers are entrepreneurs. They don't
Yeah.
claim I farm. And, it's more of a like, it's interesting because I don't know a farmer that claims they're an entrepreneur. My mom was a caterer, again, entrepreneur. But like, I wouldn't have identified at 17 or 18 that I was raised by entrepreneurial parents because they didn't run it like that. It was
Didn't
just
think like that.
yeah. And so at 17, I was heading off to college. I went to a workshop. Dennis Waitley was there, run to the front of the room and get the free
Yeah.
book. So I got Think and Grow Rich. And that's what changed. That was my defining moment.
Ah,
Like people can live like this. There's a burning desire, right? I mean, there's just all of the Think and Grow Rich manifestation work. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, like why is it so hard? People, and then my little 17-year-old wheels turn to why is it so difficult for people to learn to make money? Because what we're taught is that job is the only way to make money. So I didn't get a job during school, even though I had to work. I started my personal training business. I did aerobics instruction.
hmm.
Uh, I did that all through college and got a business degree because I knew I wanted to do something in money. But then again, I still didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. And there was at that time so few people who taught entrepreneurialism. I mean,
Mm,
I ran into Born Rich and Bob Proctor and all that, but he teaches, right, the science of getting rich and the
yeah.
subconscious. Just more of the Think and Grow Rich stuff, not how to become an entrepreneur, get incorporated, how do you do your taxes. And so I got a job for a minute after I got out of that, my bachelor's degree, and then did
Mm,
what everybody else did that didn't know what to do. I went back, got a master's degree, go back to school, and I did the thing I, at that point loved to do, which is my fitness, career. So I got an exercise physiology degree. 24 was given the opportunity to have a contract with Chevron to build 272 fitness centers on offshore oil rigs. So moved to New Orleans, flew offshore in helicopters and seaplanes for almost 4 years.
nice.
Did all of that in my 20s. And then that put me on a corporate path with them for a little while because then I would go into marketing centers, refineries around the world, help open Kazakhstan, Papua New Guinea, really sexy places of the world.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was worldwide that you were moving around the
Yeah,
world
for
itself.
them. It was
Oh,
for them. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It was intense. But, I still had that. Why is it so difficult for people to make money? And this golden handcuffs are not going to work for me because I was the worst employee. I was up for insubordination. I had the entrepreneurial energy. I didn't know how to execute it. So fast forward, I mean, Bob Proctor introduced me to
yeah.
so many other just amazing mentors. And I mean, I skyrocketed really fast in my career because of one thing. And I always say, when you hire a mentor, they better open this up for you,
Of
which is
course.
introductions. I mean, I was immediately on stage with Robert Allen, Ron LeGrand, Mark Victor Hansen. I mean, names that I didn't even know to do. And then, then I got all the way up to food chain. I've been on stages with Trump, with Branson. You
Wow.
get with the biggest promoters in the world. And then I learned early on that if you can sell from a stage, not just be a lovely presenter, you are highly, highly valued. So then the biggest promoters in the world, brought me onto their stages. And that's really been my career of being
Yeah.
around. So I never really got off the world stage. I went from Chevron's world stage straight into, so I had a little break in there. Bob called me in 1996 and he said, I have your transition, go to Scottsdale and meet, Sharon Lechter and Robert Kiyosaki. I'm like, who are they? And he's like, well, he's
Uh,
trying to Rich Dad Poor Dad book and they have a game. They're not going to pay attention to the game. This is a fast version of the story.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I walked out the master distributor of the cash flow game in 1996 and then spent those 5 years in the Rich Dad Poor Dad camp, which really Sharon's like still my
Ah,
final.
you were in it. You were in the network.
Oh yeah, I was part of the Rich Dad Advisory group. I mean, Sharon Lechter taught me, I'd have to say, the majority of the how to become an entrepreneur, and I got close to her, got close to to a lot of them. I mean, Keith Cunningham, to Diane Kennedy, Dolph DeRuze, and I were dear friends. We traveled all
Yeah,
over. So
yeah.
we were in that 5 year journey, and then I became a millionaire in real estate in 1999, and then I knew like I was really close to going on my own. I got it. Because I think one of the biggest things that people don't do, Maurice, is when I say mentor, I'm saying get close. Like
Yeah.
I allow a lot of
For
people
the
think
right people.
they want to mentor here, like they mentor with me, like really mentor, like to learn this life of this kind of a business. You need to come work with me, not for me, with me, because I don't have any employees. So get an LLC. I'll contract you. You're going to get on my sales floor first, and you're going to learn sales. Because if you can't sell, you're not going to make this ride, not very well. And
Mm.
then they get to see the studio. They get to see how we do social media. They get to see the fulfillment. They get to see customer service. They get to see the technology. So I say, if you want to mentor, there's two ways to do it. You really get close, and you have to come to Carson City. I'm not going to do it remote. It doesn't work like that. Not for me. Or you join my big table, and then you become your own version. So it's been interesting because I think those 5 years, and I think a lot of people they think becoming an entrepreneur is, I got to go launch my book right away. And it's like, you don't have a book in you yet. You have a book in you,
Yeah. You haven't been through the trials and tribulations yet.
and you haven't developed the material. So my material came out of the Rich Dad Poor Dad, 4 or 5 years that I was there. Because what's the number one thing? I'm sure you played cash flow, right?
Oh yeah.
So the number one response after thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people is, well, how do I do this? So, in my journey over the years, it's like, well, how do you do it? And I just started journaling all these and the how to is missing. And that's how the Millionaire Maker and now Integrated Wealth, the company I have today, got formed. Is you do have to have a team. You got to have it
Yeah.
integrated. The financial services world, like the medical world, like most world, industries are extreme segregation in the industry for a lot of control reasons. I get it, but then there's no glue. And so I knew that I wanted to become the glue because I got it. I saw the money flow. I knew the sequence is what I called it in my book, The Millionaire Maker, which, by the way, young man, I'll have to send you out one of these. I just
Hit
launched.
me.
I got too many books stacked on this book
Yeah.
that we just launched. Dun, 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 dun. We just launched
You have so many. Another one. Oh.
well, it's version 2.0. So, yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
So this is my 25th anniversary of my big table, my mastermind mentoring work, and it was time to update this. So basically, it's the same book with 40 new millionaire testimonials or people on their way to millionaires behind it. So it just gives more people, more industries
Yep.
information of I can be a trucker, I can be, I can keep my job. Like you said, I have a lot of military people who follow us because they don't have a good transition. I don't care
Oh,
what
stuff. Yeah, I was military.
military is horrible, and entrepreneurialism is not one of them. So I have a lot of them. I have professional athletes. There's not an industry I don't think I touch. So I just wanted to update the book and say we're pretty industry agnostic. This works no matter what.
I agree.
The sequence, as you just stated earlier in our interview, is the wealth cycle. You got to have more money going into the cycle to buy the assets to produce the passive income and then put it back to work, and you just start moving that machine. And then I've even amplified it more since post COVID on how do you use good debt, how to use 0% debt, how do you use more to get more faster to amplify, especially the people who were late starters. You know,
Yeah.
can you imagine? Like I started this journey at 17. I mean, it took me to 34 to become a millionaire. That was a little minute. I knew
Yeah.
I wanted.
The first million is the tough one. It's the other ones. It flows. It should flow anyway.
Yeah. Right. And then, I just coined a term called living corporate life, which is how do you live inside of LLCs, S corps, C corps,
Yeah.
limited partnerships, and how do you build a legacy and live through the trust, and it's all the how tos that I think got. There's a lot of motivational books. There's a lot of that's why I don't like that I'm actually in the self help category. I like to be in the finance, even though I'm not hard finance. I'm more of the pattern of the money and the sequence, and how do you use the companies to get the greatest tax strategies. And then Maurice, over the last, I'd say 5 years also, we've amplified. Our tax teams are some of the best in the world. I mean, they
Amazing.
are, and they're not big firms. They're boutique, very, very, very specialized to, high net worth individuals. And I say high net worth, meaning anyone that makes 100, quarter million or more, they need a tax plan. You're going
Yeah.
to get taxed if you don't have it. And so I'm gathering up two more right now. So I have a stable of amazing, all independent businesses. I usually assign one. So if you came to me and said, can I have one of yours as a client? I don't let anyone outside of a client have my people because I spend time training them. I spend time, with them learning.
Those businesses, you mean, for that specific uh, trade per se?
Well, yeah. So for that trade, they're independent tax people, but then I use them, the ones I've grown up, and really we've grown together, and they've done a lot of my sequencing and studying. So they've used a lot of my methodologies in their practice, and so I probably have a dozen of them that I turn the clients back to them. So when someone joins a big table and they have a big tax issue, which is a big primary problem, then they come in, I assign them to one of our tax teams, and then I say, like, I just got off a call, this morning with a gentleman who really is just challenged by living corporate life. Because if you've been employed and now you're 50 or 60 going, I didn't have to be employed the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Entrepreneur, and I don't understand your corporate life. Like the LLC is not me, but it is me. It flows to me. Like it's a harder concept. For me, probably you now too. It flows like it's water. I mean, it's like, oh, it's just like that. It's not like that for a lot of people. They don't
No.
get it. And
No.
so we like to be the how-to and the detail to help people really understand how do you live this life that a lot of people, especially on the internet, say, oh, it's just so easy. No,
It's not easy.
it's not. I don't say. You know what I say? It's not difficult. It's different, and it's
Mhm.
behaviors, right? And it's a shift of how do you do your expenses. Like I don't own this phone. A company owns this phone, so it's
Of
100%.
course. Of course.
I don't own my cars. I don't own a house. I mean, there's a lot that I don't own because I don't have deductions. My companies get them.
The company's got.
Yeah, so I teach. That's what primary, I'd say for the last 5 years, our whole focus post COVID has been on tax, corporate structure, corporate life, trust life. How do you live the legacy life? How do you
Yep.
set a legacy? In 2022, I came out with my kids' book on how do you make your kids
I
millionaires.
noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Love it.
and people say, why did it take so long? As you said at the beginning of the interview, when the original book came out in 2006, why did it take to 22? It's like, well, I had to grow up my kids. I mean, Logan was
You had stuff to do.
at work.
Yeah.
My little experiments were still in play.
But I have to give credit where credit is due. And now a known pupil to you, because I just expressed kind of what happened on the journey. What I loved about your book and still love about it is it's more the practical nuts and bolts stuff
Yeah.
versus the, let's say, self-help manifestation, think and grow rich kind of methodology. They're the same, but they appeal to people differently. It could be the conscious part or the subconscious part or what
Yep.
have you. That's why I think it's amazing. Along the same lines, one of the things you said in your book that I leverage as well is you emphasized how important it was to build a wealth team and all the
Huge.
players, yeah, and all the players that get involved. So can you just talk about that a little bit? And
Yep.
yep,
Yep. Yeah, so Integrated Wealth Systems is now the name of the company. When it first started, it was Live Out Loud because I was more in that manifesting, living out loud about money and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But we changed it because, well, Oprah started using the slogan Live Out Loud. Stephen Curtis,
Ah,
a Christian song, there's a rap song, there's a country song. There's so much about live out loud. It became very hard to trademark and hold it. So it's
yeah.
like, that's not like really what I'm doing now anyway. So I hired a branding team and they said, what do you do? And I said, I integrate teams. To your point, early on, like when the books came out, I would say it's probably by 2008 or nine. It was during that.
Okay.
It was during the 8, 9, 10 is when I really said, I can't just keep saying, Maurice, go find the tax person the way that, and then give you a list of interview questions. You still couldn't find them because then what would happen is you'd find your tax person, you'd find a corporate structure person, you'd find a trust person, insurance. Just use those. You on your own could not get these 3 or 4 people to talk.
To work together.
And
Yeah.
they work together because they have no incentive to work together other than you're their client, but they all charge you fees. So what I saw is my clients struggling trying to get the people they could find out on the internet or in their neighborhood or wherever the heck they found, the CPA, the tax person, the trust person, and the insurance person. They still couldn't get them talking. I said, heck with it. I'm changing it. I'm going to get the team. I'm going to train them Millionaire Maker way, how to sequence, stay in your lane. Because the tax person, a lot of them, they could do the corporate structure. I said, yeah, but you won't do the corporate minutes, so don't offer it. So when they come on our team and they're on our expert team, because it's me and now 28 experts is what you get when you join. So I give you my team, and
Uh,
and they're mine by corporate relationships. They don't work for me. So that's what I was.
yep.
I'm growing the tax team because I need more because it's a very high touch. That's a very high touch lane. The corporate structure is not super high touch, but corporate compliance, doing your resolutions and doing all the bookkeeping and making sure that your corporate records are compliant. Very few people do that and do it right. They don't pay attention to the big, beautiful bill that just came out July 4th. And what does that mean for corporate compliance? What's coming at us January 1st, 2026? Our teams stay in their lane. They stay current. They're expected to stay current. And when I call on them on behalf of a client, say you or whoever's out there listening, they get together and they come to a phone call. So, like the guy I was telling you about this morning who's out really challenged by it,
Yeah.
we had his tax person on, his payroll person, which then I know I got to train her more. That's what kind of came out of that call. His assigned coach, me, our coordinator, 5 people on one phone call. But that's what we do different. So instead of saying go find a team, just come here and for one flat lifetime fees now. And I changed it to lifetime. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
one-time fee for lifetime. Because once I say fix you, I mean, relay your foundation into this corporate life, then it's just about momentum. Then it's you go get more cash machines, you get more, diversity in your investments and let the tax teams handle the tax, corporate teams handle the corporate, let the insurance team handle that, self-directed IRA handle that, funding handle. So everybody's got their lane and they have to stay in it or I don't kick them off. I don't kick them off. I just don't send them anybody anymore because they
So
got to.
you're plugging people in to whose? You're plugging people into a system so they don't even have to.
Yep.
Well, why recreate the wheel if somebody's already created it for you and it works well?
Well, and because of our respect and relationship in the way that I say contracted to each other, I mean,
Yeah.
their expectations to perform for the client, and I have an expectation to keep them, we just have an expectation and we work and we flow really well. And I do have to say, I'd say the majority of the experts, 90% join the community as a client too, because they wanted the rest of the stuff. Even the tax teams. I mean, they're
Oh,
like, I want all the rest of that stuff. And it's like, you're not a client, even though you're one of the experts, you're not one of them yet. So then they all join. So it just becomes this amazing community of, what it just circles back to, and I haven't actually said this on an interview, it circles back to my 17-year-old reading, think, and grow rich of what a real mastermind is. It's people working together on behalf of, each other and clearly like the client's agenda. Like how I want a legacy for
yeah.
me is different how than you want a legacy for you and your family.
Yeah.
So, I'm the glue and the person who, has a conversation with you. What do you want? And then, you'll have the introduction of the team, but I'll help coordinate them so it makes it easier for you to live it and understand it. Because the behavior of this, again, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's different how you live it.
It
So
makes sense.
I've been super blessed to be on this journey. And, I'm going to take the path of Bob, and I've announced it for quite a while. I said, I got 4 days before he passed, I had the last endorsement in 2022.
Ah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The last endorsement of a book in his lifetime was on my kid's book.
Amazing.
And I said, I'm going to probably do the same thing because I love it and and it works. And, we change people's lives. We change their legacy. We change their families. And I say we, because it's not just me.
I know.
I created the bowl, right, where everybody plays inside the community, but I created the forum. People say, what happens if something happens to you? And I said, this thing, it's got a momentum of its own, right?
It will keep running. It will keep
It'll be
running.
running. Yeah. And my
Yeah.
son's coming. He's got one more test this month actually to be a CPA. So
Ah,
he's to the tax side. And when he was in college, he was a D1 football player for Georgia Southern. And I started
okay.
teaching.
Me too.
I did pro bono work for a lot of universities. I travel around, mostly football teams, once they heard about me. And I did a different brand for them. I called it Financial Fitness Trainer because it related to the athletes more. And
Yep.
then my son would jump out of the audience as an athlete and say,
Yeah.
Mom, you got to talk to the men like this. Like they go to the bar and they have a debit card and a credit card. They don't even know the difference. Would you just start with the basics, Mom? Debit card,
Basic.
credit card. And sort of my son interviewed and then ended up helping teach to create the just again, how do you do it? Relative content instead of this high level theory that doesn't ever get into people's lives because the theory isn't applicable. You've got to
No.
put it in your life with very specific structures, and it's all got to be legal and compliant, and you got to stay on course.
It's super high level, but take one step back for me real quick, and I espouse this all the time on my podcast, in my own journey, and for the people that I coach about using your money to buy assets and why that is so important.
Yeah.
Everyone's on this W-2 thing, or even just getting online revenue or something like that, which is the most taxed kind of revenue that you can get, or W-2 income is highly taxed. Can you talk about the importance of getting assets and why?
W-2 is the worst kind of income because it is the highest tax. If your company's made, whether you're making money on with a laundromat, an internet business, and again, why say internet? There's no such thing as an internet business. What are you selling on the internet? Are you in a makeup line? So
Yeah.
again, I don't like these cliche, oh, I make money online. How? Like specifically, like I make X dollars on my YouTube channel because I have so many viewers. I make
Yeah.
X dollars on my Instagram. I make X, like, how do you make it in what's the production of a product or service or the problem you're solving that produces that income? Because the income isn't coming from this internet machine. It's coming from a human on the other side that's got a credit card putting it into the machine. So
Yeah.
I break it down that far and say, stop talking in, cliche BS terms. Get real. What do you do to change a person's life? What problem do you solve? That changes somebody. So we break it down like that. And I think I'm gonna shift the question a
Sure.
little bit because how people think is W-2 income is the only way to make money. It's not. Being an entrepreneur, very different skill set. But then out of that, I see the next problem is they do what I call the Susie Orman Dave Ramsey model, which is get out of debt, be debt free is their first game plan. And in the meantime, that part of what's causing that debt is lifestyle. So instead
Yeah.
of getting a job or
Nailed
getting
it.
right and buying assets, like I didn't need a home until I had my son, which I had him my millionaire year. So, when I was 34 years old, I became a millionaire and had my son all within that same year. It's amazing what getting pregnant does and
Yeah. It'll
knowing
motivate
you're
you.
going to be a single mom. It's like, oh shit, I got to go. Like,
Yeah.
and I knew a lot, but boy, did I put it in action. So that was 1999 was my like pivotal year. But I share that because up until that point, I didn't buy a home. I bought rentals. I bought doors because
Me too.
I was fine doing that. I just, I could live in that place and move to the next place and move to the next place. I didn't really live in an environment and people always thought I rented. And it's like, well, I own the building, but yeah, it looks like a rental because I didn't need it. So I did make money to assets, which money, income to investing, right, which is assets, is the pattern of a millionaire, and it's the pattern of wealthy people. But most people know the pattern is make money, get a lifestyle, and then get out of debt, and then your 40 and 50, your biggest earning years are over, and you're going, oh shit, I don't have a
Yeah.
lot.
I'm
Now what am
stuck.
I going to do?
Stuck. Yep.
Like I'm
Yep.
stuck because you did the wrong cycle. The cycle was all about income to a lifestyle and then pay off debt. And now what are you going to do? Now you don't even have any principal because you paid off your debt. It might feel good, but now you blew, 50, 100,000, whatever your student loan, there's just so many ways to activate debt on a long, slow roll. Like
Hmm.
I say, pay off debt slow as long as it's that's just the cost of money. So if you can get the cost of your money really low and you can invest instead at 12, 15, 18, 20, whatever your percent, go invest. The debt will go away eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, just so you listeners, I will actually give the ebook copy of the newest 2.0 to all your listeners.
Amazing.
I'll put it on a link for you and your
Okay.
list. Now, so if you want to see how millionaires get out of debt, go to page 194 and
Okay.
read how I power. It's called Power Down Debt, and it goes away slower, but you accumulate assets as you're doing it, and
That's
you
how I did it.
say and park the lifestyle. Like you got to stop buying. And I'll tell you, switching gears back
Yeah.
to athletes, and especially my big NFL guys, getting them to buy an apartment versus a Lambo, or getting to buy some asset versus jewelry. I would say jewelry, women, and vehicles is how they
That's where
spend.
marketing comes in and kills them from the beginning, buying the lifestyle and trying to keep up with image.
And the other athlete friends, and oh well, so and so has this and that. And if you really look at the long standing one, they somehow something shifted in them, because they actually have pretty successful lives financially. But that's not the
Yeah.
norm. Norm isn't that, and the norm for most people isn't that,
Yeah.
because again, no one's teaching. You make it, invest it. You make, invest. That's the pattern that I mean, scream through the rooftops to people. You build that pattern first, debt can go away slow, and don't worry about a lifestyle. It'll come later. If you're willing to do that,
Yeah.
you'll win. But that pattern's critical.
You clearly have those basics and I think you teach them to people. So how do people work with you? Do they have to be at a certain level? Do they need to be at a certain corporate level, a certain salary level? And the reason I say that, and if you could touch on this,
Yep.
I'm such a proponent of self-education, as Mr. Proctor was, obviously, but such a big proponent of self-education. It freed me because I picked up books like yours. And by the way, because I read the same books over and over and over and just executed what they said and just kept blinders on, that's how I got where I got today. And uh, there's
Well,
just too much shit out there. But
well,
how do you help people?
and wouldn't you agree? Like you can't read. I know. I mean, I've met Ramsey. I have met Orman. Lovely people. That they don't profess this. So you can't
No,
take
no,
their keep a job and stay safe and get out of debt strategy as just a very simple way of living. To say I want to do this, that'd be saying I want to be fat or skinny. Like they don't work. So like you
no,
said,
that's an abundant mindset book that you just put up. Millionaire Maker is an abundant mindset book where no disrespect to the Susie Orman
no,
and
not
all
no,
that, but it is a
no.
very scarcity mindset. Keep yourself safe, don't expand, protect yourself,
Live
etc.
within your means. Live within your means. Grow your means. You all
Grow
have
your means. Yeah,
skills. You all have
absolutely.
amazing skills. You have amazing talents. You got to put them to work and go do more of what you want to do and know how to do it. So
Yeah,
it's vital. But the point I want to let's reiterate what you said was brilliant. Keep
yeah,
your blinders on to the lane you're in. If you want this lane, you only read stuff that complements this lane. You don't jack back and forth. And the internet since COVID has such a
it's too
disaster.
much.
I
It's
call
too
it the bathroom wall. Everybody writes everything about anything, irrelevant or not, accurate or not. I got the good, the bad, the interesting out there. It is what it is. I can't fix the internet. You can't go delete it. I mean, people have wrote lies. There's newspapers who have wrote complete articles. They don't even know me. They lied. They said
yeah.
they interviewed me. I never interviewed them. I don't even know them. But yeah, I can, I'm going to put up anything. So what I say for people to do and for due diligence is
Yeah.
look at longevity, look at sustainability. Actually, are they even available? Are they real? Do they have a phone number? I mean, the obvious. Do background checks, do it all. I don't care. But how do people work with me? I've opened up
Yep.
this site in the last 4 years called askloral.com.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah, tell me about
Ask
it.
Laurel is ask a question, make a request in any money conversation. And yes, we have things for as low as just start with reading all 6 books to consume my YouTube channel. That's Loral Langmeier, the Millionaire Maker. But to get this book free, just go to asklaurel.com/podcast. And you'll get that. Plus, you're going to get 2 tickets to a free event I do. So you can start in the free category of a lot of content. And
Yeah.
then people go all the way up to my big table, which is like I said, a lifetime membership. That's, anywhere depending on if it's a solo person, solo business to a team.
Okay.
It depends as there's more of a custom pricing at the higher ends. But, I have one of the, I'd say for the new entrepreneurs, the one process that I put in place during like 2008, 9, 10. It's called the 100K challenge.
Okay.
Because the first 100,000 as an entrepreneur, as you know, it's the hardest money to make. It's even harder than your
It's
first
brutal.
million. It's
Yeah.
brutal because
Yeah.
you don't know how to be an entrepreneur. You've got this employee mindset, and then you need an entrepreneurial skill set like that. You don't know how to
Yeah.
market. You don't know how to sell. You don't understand cash flow. I mean, you might understand it conceptually. How do you do it is a very different walk.
Yep.
So we have a guarantee that in 365 days, we'll help you make a new $100,000. And if not, you can have the second year for free. And I always say, if you can't figure it out in working with us, and because I do a video once a week that says, now do this week, and don't deviate, just do this. And I've had the people who do it, 82% win. So,
Wow.
I mean, but the people don't do it. It's like, it's too much work. I don't want to have to do all my social posts. Well, we post probably 50 times a week. I
Yeah.
record 20 to 30 videos every other week. I mean, I'm recording in this little studio. It's my new home because that's what it takes to be on this lovely internet
Of
machine.
course. Of course.
But
And
people don't realize that. And so then they quit. And people quit on themselves faster. When people on the internet say, well, her stuff doesn't work. No, you don't work because you're not willing to get out of bed. People say, are you willing to guarantee your work? I said, are you willing to get out of bed the same time I do? Are you willing to run the pace I run? Are you willing to do the things I ask you to do at the pace I do?
Yeah.
Well, no. I said, well, then I can't guarantee it.
Yeah. People need to embody what they want to see in you, right? So it comes right back to them. And I actually want to encourage people to look into you because, look, I told you I'm a big believer in self-education. The seminars that I took with people where I spent a lot of money was well worth it because what you put into it, you will keep yourself accountable.
Yep.
If it's free stuff all the time, the accountability is just not there.
Yeah.
But I am a great example of someone who just picked up your book, did what it said, but also running into you again tells me I need to look into more and be around more people who are doing bigger and better than what I've accomplished because you never stop this learning process ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always say you get kind of addicted to it.
You do.
Then,
you do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have one of my other sayings is just you got to lean in and learn.
Yeah.
And you have to really understand it and want to understand it and have the life. You just can't say, well, I want that lifestyle. Oh, by the way, Maurice, I have to share this with the audience because it's funny. Because a lot of people say, well, don't you have a magic wand? Well, now I do. But darn, I had to buy it this year because I'm like, everybody's like, well, how come you don't just get out your magic wand? And I was like, well, the magic wand's in that book. It might be helpful if you read it. This is just lovely to look at. So this is my funny little magic wand.
There you go, the magic wand. Yeah. Well, your book was my magic wand.
Magic wand. Yeah.
I appreciate you. I want to be respectful of your time. You. Is Ask Loral the best place for folks to find you? AskLoral.com/podcast to go get the free book. And they're going to get a whole bunch of free stuff that I'm going to give for them listening to your podcast. Okay.
IntegratedWealthSystems.com is what I call the mothership. It's everything I do. You're going to get, I should say lost in there, but there's hundreds of pages. It's the buildup of 25 years of my work.
Amazing.
You can find a lot of stuff there too. I have a ton of free stuff after 25 years.
Yeah.
And you'll find some of the beginning stuff, in the 2004, 5, 6 era. And then you'll just watch the advancement of, as I advanced in my own life and what I learned and what I've executed, I share, transparently with everybody. So,
and it's very, very, very executable. And that's what I appreciate about you. And I appreciate you giving my listeners a bit of your time today as well.
Absolutely. Maurice, thank you.
Good my pleasure. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, this is Maurice, host of the Try Life On podcast, and thank you for listening to another episode. I hope you are finding it useful and helping you design your own lifestyle that you don't need a vacation from. If that's the case, please consider dropping a review for me, whether in Apple, iTunes, or in Spotify. Drop a review, put some stars on it, give me some feedback on how I can make the podcast better, what information you are looking for. I am doing my best to get information to you on the Try Life On principles, the 5 freedoms, how to build lifestyle, travel hacking, all of it. And I want to do it for you So please do a review for me. And until next time, my name is Maurice Philogene, and this is the Try Life On podcast. Peace.